I'm Sharon Louise Barnes, and this piece is called Wind from the East. It is a piece wrought with a lot of symbols, most of them spiritually based in nature. The wind from the east is symbolized by a black woman who is breathing the breath of knowledge across the universe. And there are various symbols that are African, Buddhist, Hindu, Egyptian, Native American in the wind as it transverses the universe. The colors were chosen for also symbolic reasons, the red being the red flicker bird from Native American, and the Ashanti cloth here, the lotus, the eternal symbol, the messenger of joy, the Coptic cross, the Star of David, the Egyptian pyramid, the yin-yang symbol, the moon, which is wrought with all types of meanings, the Hindu mandala. It's just full of things, and I could probably go on and on about its meaning, but that's it in its summary. As an artist, I'm very much interested in spirituality, not in the sense that people are used to thinking of spirituality, because I come from more of an African and Native American indigenous people type of spirituality, which encompasses all things: the earth, the sky, the moon, our ancestors, and it's an all-encompassing thing, and I express this a lot in my art. This is one of the recurring themes.
My name is Kenneth Carnes, and this piece here is called Cracking of the Foundation. Okay, and I'm just showing the breaking down of the black family, you know. And this is mainly what this piece is showing. It has a black man at the bottom. He's holding up more of a fantasy-like scenery, and on top there's a woman and a little boy hugging the mom, because in my opinion, I think that the little boys is hurt more through the breaking down of the family than the little girls. It probably seems kind of wrong to say that, but this is what I'm showing. This is what I want to show in this piece. You know, I show faces, I show hidden enemies, you know, in the system, you know, and, you know, I show a lot of different colors, or, you know, sometimes I just think that, you know, the world is just, you know, passing us up, and, you know, we're not able to catch up yet. And, you know, and that's the reason I call this cracking of the foundation. This is this piece right here.
My name is Edward Yule. I'm a photographer. I started taking photographs about 15 years ago, and the work that I started taking has changed. I started off with modeling and things of that nature, and I moved into scenic fine art. I felt as though that I wanted to show some of the basic concepts which God has put here for all of us to see, and I chose landscapes, seascapes, and fine art to photograph. This piece here is yesterday. I was in southeastern Texas and in a very old home, and woke up one morning and it was raining outside, and as I sat in the sofa next to the window, this image came to me, and I attempted to photograph what I was actually seeing at that particular time, and photograph after development. It came out, and I was inspired with it and decided to show it. I took this photograph in vertical and horizontal, titled it Yesterday, because it reminded me of the yesterday that when this actually took place, and also the yesterday and days past, years ago. We can can see a different type of homes and the way things were constructed long ago, and it reminds us of the 40s at that particular time. And basically, that's what I attempt to show through my photography, things that's I naturally see them and as they're actually taking place.
Hi, my name's Jeff Gaddy. Let's see. The piece next to me is a piece that was inspired by me thinking of my grandfather when I was a small boy. I remember that he was a huge man. He had huge hands. That's what I painted here. Let's see. To me, people are the most interesting thing in the world, and the way people perceive their environment, their reality. And so all my work reflects, if people aren't actually included in a work or parts of people, it's going to be the environment as perceived by me particularly. I've been painting all my life virtually. I got into using oils when I was 13. A next door neighbor, Leon Boyce, an artist, moved next door and showed me how to use oils. And I've been painting with oils ever since. During the day, I also use computers and Adobe Photoshop a lot in my work, and I'm incorporating some of that into what I do with my oils and acrylics.
Hello, my name is Rhonda Kelly, and I am a Southern California artist. And I'm going to talk about this piece. It's called Inevitable Balance. It's a piece that I did in 1992. And it came out of a lot of different things. One of the main things was I was coming into a lot of knowledge about who I am as an African American, especially an African American living here in America, being raised here, and looking at my ancestral background, and then learning about that and coming into that. So this piece, Inevitable Balance, is about my perspective and how I was viewing America at the time as an African American woman. The flag is drawn on a tangent because often the relationship that people of African descent in this country has had with America has been on a tangent. It's never been straight on, and we've never been comfortable quite with it. And so that's the main reason why it's painted in that fashion. Also, she holds a heart in her left hand and a brain in her right. And the fact that I drew an embryo down at the bottom of her feet is the fact that whether or not a woman decides to have children, she is always, pretty much in America especially, faced with that as something that she'll have to choose, or she'll have to answer why she hasn't had children, if she hasn't, or if she had children, well, what is she going to do if she decides to work? So it's a balance thing that women often go through. And as far as the heart and the brain, of course, that represents the emotional and the logical side of her. And sometimes when women are too emotional, so to speak, and I want to put that in quotes, they're too emotional, that they're criticized for that. And then sometimes if they're too logical, they're criticized for that. So at the time, as I said, I was coming into my own, and this was in my mid-20s. So I was discovering who I was, and this piece came out of that. And the roots at the bottom are about the uprooting process that African Americans went through in the past, and so many of us still struggle with it on a daily basis. And that's pretty much that piece. It's acrylic on canvas. It's 18 by 24, or 24 by 36, I'm sorry. And I was born and raised in Fresno, California. I was raised by two beautiful people, and I have one brother. And I was also blessed to have a lot of grandparents and a lot of extended family around me. So life has been good. I'm blessed, and I'm grateful. Enjoy the show.
I didn't choose to become an artist. I was chosen. It's just something that I've always done. Whether it's being a visual artist or musically or in any other type of form. I've just always been a very creative person. It's just a natural. Both of these pieces, this one was more of an academic study. Just looking at the female form and drawing the anatomy, trying to grasp the dimensionality of the form, using the Conte. And the figure was deliberately cropped like that in order to abstract it. It's cropped and close up, so it doesn't necessarily read as a female form at first glance. So you have to kind of look at it for a minute. A lot of people are like, well, what is it? And then they step back and they realize what it is. You don't really know it's a torso, a female torso. So I kind of did that to give the viewer a more subjective experience instead of necessarily giving them all the information at once.
Right now I'm exhibiting a piece, Nude Essence, which is a mixed media collage. I work in all different types of materials, and with this particular piece I used fabric, magazine cutouts, old drawings to recreate an image based upon whatever I wanted to accomplish at the moment. This particular piece I wanted to convey the beauty of African American women, and I wanted to create this and based upon like all the different images that we used to be bombarded with, and I wanted to create something where like something like, wow, it's interesting because it wasn't something I intended to do in the beginning as far as what the look was going to be. It kind of happened spontaneous, and so what happened, I was starting with the idea that I wanted to have the concept of creating this female figure, and then out of that I kind of let it flow based upon where the feeling of the moment moved me. So I kind of compare it to like jazz, kind of do like improvising, play off of the media, go one direction, different direction, and it may not be totally pre-planned out. The ideal may be pre-planned, but as far as the execution always changes. And so what happens is a lot of things may come out something different than what I created before. So with this particular piece, again, I wanted to, I always been fantasizing. No, I always been wanting to create something that really show the essence, the true beauty, not only just as far as the body, but just the spirit of African American women. And so I wanted to create something where she is partially exposed, but yes, something that's not photographic. It's not really erotic, but it's more sensual, more spiritual. And so I want to convey that as far as the natural beauty of the piece. As far as my background in art, I was always drawn as a little child. I'm an only child, so I was always creating something on my own. I was fortunate. My parents always, took me to see a lot of different things as far as in the community and outside the community. So I was always a natural explorer and always liked to travel and do different things. And so one of the things I did once I was at home is always had this imagination of creating things that maybe I cannot get to, or creating something that I would like to have, even though I may not be able to get to it, but I can create it on my own based upon the materials I had. So I was always collecting things, I was always drawing, I was always putting things together. But it wasn't until in my adult years that I just fell into doing collages. In my early years, I would do traditional drawings and paintings, strictly realism. But after in my adult years, when I went to an exhibit at UCLA to see Ramir being an exhibit, it kind of changed my perspective of what my art could be. And so from there, I started doing a lot more experimentation with different materials. And so since then, I've been doing a lot of mixed media. So where I don't feel I'm limited by whatever's available. And in fact, whatever's available forces me to become even more creative with what I have, as opposed to running, I got to have the exact color this, or the exact material that. But it kind of makes me kind of go into myself and say, okay, this is all I have, what can I create out of this? And that's kind of my work.
I'm Deborah McDuff, and right now I'm working on masks, and they're called Catch a Spirit. And it was spawned from my being overwhelmed, tired, and beat up. So I went to Palm Springs, and I started making these masks that talk back to me. And they all have poems to go with them. I've been an artist for a little while, but I've mainly been working with other artists because it's easier to deal with other people than it is your own work. And started a museum, working on another gallery location, and I sell real estate.
Well, the piece is inspired. Went to Senegal, and I did a series of Dr. Beverly Barber at Florida A&M University. She was saying that the dance changes, the African dance changes. So when I was over there, I took a lot of pictures and drew and painted a series of paintings of the African dances in relationship with the Afro-American dance and the Caribbean dances. And I came back and did about 25 or 30 pieces, and all of a sudden I said, well, I don't have any guys. So I had a few drawings that I had in my pad coming from over there, and I saw this little boy. And it inspired me in that learning and understanding the Egyptianology and actually studying it when I was at Dominguez. I decided I would do a piece in relationship to one of the great pharaohs. And what I did was, the name of the series of paintings, even with the women, were called Afro-American Woman, Egyptian Women Yesterday, Afro-American Women Today. So with this piece here, I did it the same way, in that I'm showing this little boy as a lost son of a pharaoh, basically in the boonies, if you will, not in the city, because these people here, instead of living in the city, they still live in the bush and in the huts. And what I did, I put one of the great pharaohs, his name was Susunis, and on this bracelet, it's almost like he kind of have kept a bracelet through his family. And I call this painting here the lost son of Susuni. And I give the angle here, instead of having the frill that the Egyptians usually have, the frill and the crocs. He doesn't have it because he lives in the boonies. So the little stick there here that he uses to train the animals, switch the flies. And with this angle here, I said, this is perfect. So I'll just have it as if this is the crocs that the Egyptians use, which is basically a work symbol. And I just put the bracelet on it, or Susini's bracelet. And I got the eyes looking out. Basically, those are my eyes and kind of my face. And what I'm saying here, I'm saying through this little boy here, I'm a lost descendant of the great pharaoh of Egypt, Susinis, which was in the 20th dynasty.
I've been an artist for a big majority of my life. I started out at a very young age. The creation that you're looking at today is The Way to Freedom. And it kind of takes me back. In the 40s and the 50s, I saw the whole struggle of black people in the United States. And this is just, to me, is reminiscent of some of the things that we went through and the weight of having these freedoms, the toll that it takes on us. Well, it's very interesting if you go back in my child life. But the majority of the art that I create is more or less reminiscent of what I saw when I was coming up as a child. A lot of people are fascinated by the things they see today, but my past is really so profound, and I saw so many things. I saw my mother and father, what they had to do, but being that they were the parents that did, they impressed on us that we should press ahead taken a very big interest in the art world. I've worked as a commercial artist, great majority of my life. I've gone to the Minneapolis School of Art and later graduated from Windsor University, LA, with a master's in graphic communication. It's taken me around the world. I've worked around the world. I worked for a corporation, and for 5 years I managed the graphics and educational facilities for the Royal Saudi Air Force. So in all that time of my travels, it's very interesting that I had a chance to travel and see a lot of countries. I was impressed by it. I enjoyed it. And after retiring, I decided that I would start painting on a full-time basis. And doing that, I came in contact with a group of artists called The Collective. Not only are they trying to promote their art, but they're also trying to make an impression on the community that there are talents out there that the community hasn't seen. And in essence, as artists, we can get together, we can go out and we can work in the community and be a part of it. So today, you're looking at one of my pieces of art that is being represented in by the Collective group at WCLC in Los Angeles, and I'm very happy to be a part of that. I think my talents as an artist, I get a lot of comments, and there's a lot of beautiful people in the Collective, and they're all working towards the same effort. Thank you.
My name is Mona Lisa Whitaker, and this is my piece, Amada 10. This is my daughter. This is an image that I took of her. I've been wanting to document her growth and development for, her entire life, and so this is one of the images that came out, which was kind of unexpected because she has this look on her face that I didn't really realize that she had the capability to have this whole attitude that she has in the image. My background is I've studied photography since high school, and right now I'm going to Cal State Long Beach to obtain a bachelor's in photography, and eventually I will become a curator specializing in African American art.
My name is Donna Woods, and I am an artist, photographer, writer, and poet. This piece was done in the late 80s. It's a piece in oil, and when I was doing it, I had the feeling of a woman at the back door in a hot kitchen, taking in the breeze, and that's why I call it Summer Breeze. It has a tropical feel, although I've never been to the islands. I'd like to at one point. It has a southern feel and a tropical feel for me. I like the idea of the pink against the skin, bringing out the brown in the skin. I don't know why I chose pink. I could have chosen blue, but it just happened that way for me. But the piece is of a woman who is taking her leisure at the back door after cooking a hot meal. Well, I started drawing when I was 12. I come from an extremely creative family, and singing, music, dance, and my parents divorced when I was very young, so I became extremely withdrawn. And the only way my instructors, my teachers at school could get me to participate was to put pen and paper or watercolors in front of me, and I would open up. So when I was at home, I would hide in my room and draw. And painting became something that I picked up in my teen years. I was the family babysitter and didn't have many friends, didn't go many places, but I loved to paint. And what I would do is look through magazines and try to copy the human form. That was my earliest influence as far as physical drawing, trying to copy the human form. And once I got my hands on acrylics, I began trying to shade in, blend colors. I didn't have any formal training until I, high school, junior high school. I always took an art class and learned how to mix colors there. I went to Los Angeles City College and studied film and art. And I had my first gallery showing at Los Angeles City College, Da Vinci Hall, producing a calendar, production artist. And actually, I worked as a production photographer through Giant Step, and that's how I met Paul Hazel. He was teaching photography, and I learned darkroom techniques, and went on to work as a graphic artist and a production photographer, and still trying to get my artwork together so I could produce a show for myself. In the late 80s, I was able to, actually in 1987, I had a one-woman show in San Jose. I had over 30 pieces and sold 5 that evening, I was stunned and amazed that so